Hello and welcome back together to this weekly update on the financial market. My name is Jens, and unlike every episode, I want to cover with you the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold, and Bitcoin against the US dollar. We will have a look at the weekly, daily, and 4-hour time frame to analyze price and have a look on what we can do in the markets the coming days and weeks, as well as all my trades like usually. Let's start directly in with the S&P 500 and the weekly time frame. Like promised, here the weekly time frame on the S&P 500 index, where every candle represents 1 week of price action. So on the big time view here, we can see that we're an intact uptrend, printing higher highs and higher lows at the moment at a new all-time high. The weekly orange uptrend line is intact. We had lately a broken uptrend line on the weekly that got now dissolved because we have seen a new all-time high. So that one is now the major weekly uptrend line. That is the past one. Oftentimes these trend lines get respected even the moment they got taken out with a new all-time high. So maybe we are in front of some resistance here for price and a smaller pullback for continuation higher. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. Here you can see that we have a daily solid white downtrend line. That one got taken out to the upper side in combination with a daily resistance zone. Price managed to get above that. We have seen a small pullback, and after the small pullback getting broken to the upper side, I entered into a long position in the index, and at the moment I'm riding that one higher. Stop loss is placed below this broken daily resistance zone, now turning support if price decides to come back down. So the stop loss gets protected by this area and also by the 200 moving average. You can see in the past it worked as resistance, and it will also work as support, like you can see here. Like I already said on the weekly, I am expecting that we'll maybe see soon resistance for price and pullback. How deep that pullback will go, I don't know for sure. Maybe the last all-time high or even a bit lower before then continuing again higher and following the overall uptrend, because the trend is a friend. Because of that, I'm trading inside that direction. Yeah, stop loss was already explained. Let's go to the take a profit target. I was using for that Fibonacci retracement. So from the low of the movement to the high of the movement, I was using this Fibonacci tool, and that has also extension levels. And the first extension level is around 6,700 points in the index, and slightly below that I placed my take profit order, because I have no price structure to orientate on. Because of that, I like to use these extension levels of the Fibonacci tool. For sure, price can also turn against this overall uptrend and turn, but the statistical advantage is on my side if I decide to stay with the uptrend and not trade against it. So the position stays untouched and I let it run. That's all I have for the S&P 500. Let's switch to the US oil chart, also the weekly. The US oil chart here, like promised on the weekly time frame, I was drawing in here a monthly red solid downward line. That one got broken to the upper side, and since then we broke out of this downtrend and moved directly into another one. Like you can see here, we had this consolidation. We could argue that you are seeing here an A, B, C pattern, a classic corrective pattern, before then breaking that also to the upper side and moving higher again. It can't be said for sure that point C is already finished. Maybe it will decline even lower and point C will move with that lower. So it's not guaranteed that we will finish this pattern and break next time to the upper side, but it's a possibility. We had this weekly support zone. Price got supported by the area every time we got there. Once we have seen a break, I was expecting a retest and a break lower. Instead, we have seen a news driven event breaking even this weekly downward line to the upside, or violating it slightly and then coming directly back down. So my speculation now is that we have seen the low already, and that the next moves that are coming are the breakouts above this weekly downward line. That's high speculative. Because of that, I'm only risking 0.5% of my account balance with this trade. If we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see my trade in more detail. We have here the daily white solid downtrend line. That one got broken to the upper side. We violated this weekly downtrend line and crashed back down. Found here support. You can see that's an area of confluence. Price is showing that to us. So I decided if we see price bounce higher from that level, so this area gets confirmed as support, I want to enter into a long position, and I did. If we drop even one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see why I placed my stop loss around $59 per barrel, because here is at the 4-hour time frame another support zone for price, where price bounced a couple of times before then rising higher. So I placed this stop loss below this level. The 4-hour blue dotted uptrend line is still intact and not broken to the downside, which is also a more bullish sign. And I hope that we will rise the next couple of days and weeks to the upper side. If not, my stop loss got taken out. Point C probably moves lower at the weekly time frame, and we have to readjust. That's all I have for US oil. Let's look at gold. Gold at the weekly time frame looks absolutely beautiful, at least for a long-term investor. We have this often tested resistance zone for price here, and after we have seen the final breakout, what followed was higher highs and higher lows, and a really bullish structure, not broken yet. We have seen also in the MACD indicator higher highs, which confirms the uptrend is intact. We see no divergence at this higher time frame. We see at the moment a cross to the downside in the MACD indicator, which was in the past always the low of the corrective movement, like you can see here. I don't know for sure if it's the same this time, because this move here was looking like a blow-off move to me. Then we had this consolidation time and then a break higher again, which is normally not usual for a turning sign in the market. Well, we don't know. The trend is different. Because of that, I'm at the moment in a long position. And yeah, I explain you all the details at the daily time frame. Sorry for that. Still a little bit sick. It's not over yet. Yeah, on the daily time frame, we can see a white solid daily uptrend line still intact, and also a secondary daily uptrend line here in white dotted. You can see that was the all-time high. Since then we had an ABC pattern marked by this downtrend line, and we have seen a breakout. That was the reason for me to get into a long position. Place stop loss below. Let's switch to a lower time frame. For time frame, you see it in more details. My stop loss was placed below this 4 support zone for price, and that worked pretty well because it exactly stopped at that level declining in combination with this daily uptrend, moved higher from there. The moment still in a loss position. We have a secondary 4-hour downtrend that got broken to the upper side, and I hope to see next week coming a break above this smaller local high and a continuation of the overall uptrend. If that ain't happening, which is absolutely possible, we see a break below this last low here and a takeout of 1, this 4-hour support zone, and 2, my stop loss, and I will lose probably around 1% of my account balance here. That will probably resolve in a retest of this level and a break of the retest again, all the way down to this daily white solid uptrend line, the major daily uptrend. And yeah, that would mean that gold prices are cooling off before eventually continuation of the bigger time frame picture uptrend. Yeah. Should we then trade to the lower side, so go short in gold? Not sure yet, because the risk reward ratio ain't the best, to be honest. If we aim for a test of this daily uptrend and are expecting that from there on price starts rising again, you would have to place it like this, and this is just a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio with the stop loss the last high here. I'm not so sure of if that's the best strategy here. Maybe we also see a bounce at that level, because here you have also high price action around this area, and that could probably also act as support, and then we stay in this range, and then we would not only lose this current long position but also the short trade that would add up and get a huge loss position. I trust the long-term upward trend and want to sit that probably out if we see my stop loss taken to the downside, and wait till we see a bounce at this daily uptrend line again, and maybe looking for an entry to go long again. That's all I have for gold. Last but not least, we look at Bitcoin against the US dollar. Bitcoin also starting here at a weekly time frame looks nearly as beautiful like gold. We have a weekly intact uptrend with higher highs and higher lows following, and that's the sign of a perfect intact uptrend so far. Near the all-time high, slightly corrective move to the 10-week moving average, and a bounce from that to the other side looks pretty bullish to me. Far from crossing here in the MACD indicator, so at the moment no divergence price to MACD, also bullish so far. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. Here you can see that we had a daily downward line, this one got broken to the upper side. On the 4-hour time frame, we had a slight consolidation here. After we've seen a break above that, I went into a long position with a stop loss below this whole downtrend movement. And from there on, we have seen rising prices and even a new all-time high. That was the reason for me to move my stop loss from my initial stop loss level to my entry level to take the risk free. So I can't lose this trade anymore except the fees. And I already placed a new buy stop order above the last all-time high, because we have here consolidation ABC, and at the moment we have the leg that either breaks it to the upside or fails, and we drop all the way back down. The statistically likelihood of this resolving to the upper side is in my view much higher than reversing now. So I placed this buy stop here, and stop loss would be slightly below this structure here, this corrected structure, and I would enter another 1% at risk trade here at my account balance, and then I would have increased my existing long position. My take a profit target is based on this Fibonacci retracement level from the low to the high of the movement. Then we have the corrective pattern here, and if we break that to the upper side, I am using the second extension level here of this Fibonacci retracement tool, and slightly below that I placed my take profit area. And yeah, I'm pretty bullish for Bitcoin, I have to say that, or admit that, and for sure price can turn and take me out, then I wouldn't lose anything except before we turn and went into my stop loss, this buy stop gets triggered. But I think at the moment we see new all-time high, will probably continue to the upside. That's all I have for now for this weekend update. I hope you are all starting well into next week. Have a good one. Bye bye till next time.